Hey, hello everybody, Jay Barino here, continuing StarCraft Remastered. We are almost done with the Protoss campaign, 2 missions left, the Insurgent. I always had trouble with this map when I was younger. Executor Citadel at New Antioch, Shakuras.
Congratulations, Executor. Your success has brought us the promise of hope against the Zerg. However, we face a new threat within our own ranks. In your absence, Judicator Aldaris and an entire legion of Kali survivors from Ire have begun an open revolt against us.
By the gods, this is ill news indeed. Why would Aldaris betray us so?
He and his ilk believe that it was wrong to have abandoned Ire and consorted with our people. Their prejudices have driven them to perpetuate the Conclave's sins against us. Even now, Aldaris and his loyalist Templar forces are preparing to attack our citadel.
I can scarcely believe this. As if the Zerg were not enough. Matriarch, are you certain of this?
All too certain, young Templar. Executor, as Matriarch of the Dark Templar and Custodian of this world, I hereby order you to terminate Judicator Aldaris and quell this untimely uprising without delay. There will be no dissent among us while the Zerg are poised to strike.
There's something amiss here. The Matriarch has always been a wise and gentle soul. Though there is some merit in her decision, this is very unlike her.
That may well be. But right now, we have a friend to kill. May Adun forgive us.
Something doesn't seem right. Let's just kill him. That's right, Artanis. Good thinking. Kill the traitor Aldaris. Yeah, the future of the Protoss race right here, folks. Real critical thinker.
Be advised, Executor. Our forces are divided. Aldaris has taken control of our Templar warriors and arbiters. It is possible that he may even send Archons against us.
Fear not, comrades, for we have Archons of our own. Should the dire need arise, all Dark Templar may merge to become Dark Archons. Though we sacrifice our warriors in doing so, only the might of the Dark Archons can match the forces of Aldaris.
Okay, so we'll try to mind control. I always struggled with this map as a kid. I always found the Protoss v Protoss maps to be the hardest ones. Trial of Tassadar, Homeland. Those were always tough. I think that I'm going to beat this like I used to, just for fun. And the way I used to beat it is I would make a bunch of scouts and fly up the left side of the map. And sure, there's a bunch of defense around here to try to disincentivize you from doing that, but we're going to do it anyway. We just make enough scouts. I don't know, I mentioned at the end of the last video I wanted to do something a little goofy, so let's do something a little goofy. And we'll just sit in our first main base here and just build a bunch of shield batteries and cannons and get our basic upgrades like Zealot legs and Dragoons and Dragoon range, that kind of stuff. And then just mind control as much as we can as enemies come into our base. And that should be enough. I mean, again, the enemy attacks are large, but as long as we have enough Dark Archons to mind control, we should be fine. Not to mention Dark Archons very strong. They're just very strong, period. That's pretty much that. Okay, I will put another probe on here. I mean, it's kind of oversaturating it, but it seems like there's a tiny little gap in there, and gas is going to be our biggest issue. The Dark Archons, they're just in so much pain. I almost feel bad making them, because they're just in the perpetual agony, it seems like. Thoughts in chaos. All right, what can we take? Get the Archon. It's C, isn't it? Yeah, do it. There you go. All right, Archon, prove your loyalty to us. Does anyone else find some ethical issues with just taking control of these units? And you know what I mean? Like they're doing what they think is right by rebelling, and we are mind controlling them. I don't know. There's something. Again, there's some ethical dilemmas there. Like, what happens when the conflict is over? How does that work? Nobody thinks about that. Everyone's just like, oh, Jay Barino, it's just a game. I'm like, no, it's more than a game. The lore of StarCraft is the most important thing on the planet. All inconsistencies must be remedied. I refuse to play it until that is the case. Anyway, we're going to make some shield batteries specifically for Archons because their shields are depleted when they use mind control. And they don't start with Argus crystals, so let's go ahead and grab that. Argus talisman. So let's grab that so they have a higher base stuff. You know, stuff. So yeah, we're probably just gonna mine most of this out. It's tempting to go and take the left base as well, but it's a lot easier to just to defend one side here. I don't want to go overboard with cannons or anything like that. We're just gonna mind control a lot of stuff as it comes in, make sure we have enough Dark Archons to take control of stuff. Let's get another one, actually. So we're going to take Reavers, we're going to take Carriers. We'll probably take Scouts, too, just because we're going to use them. See, that's the thing. We're going to mind control Scouts and then suicide them against the leader of their current cause. I will say I find the writing of the briefing of this particularly intriguing. I think Blizzard did a good job at this point in the campaign, just because, I mean, what they didn't do a good job with is, like, how realistic was it where Zeratul says, hey, something doesn't seem right, and Artanis is like, oh, well, shrug, we have to kill him. But, you know, it's kind of interesting, you know, you look back in retrospect and you realize the Matriarch was already pretty fucked up, unfortunately. We'll get some more cannons as well, but we're primarily focusing on shield batteries. This is dangerous of me to just be focusing on macro here as we eventually are going to transition. I don't want to go overboard with cannons only because Reavers are going to tear them up anyway. So, you know, mostly making these shield batteries to kind of take the initial brunt of the hits, but then also, you know, it's for the Dark Archons. I might just make all these into Dark Archons, and then we can just mind control constantly. I tried to do that when we played Mass Recall, but the enemy attacks were so huge, which they won't be in this game. I mean, they'll be pretty large here, but not as big as previous. Yeah, sure, take some Dragoons. Okay, run away, buddy. Get healed! It worked. Okay, and then let's just start shields. Zealot legs so we can make some zealots. There we go. Okay, and then get healed. So, Dark Archons have no actual attack. Maelstrom is also very good. High Templar we can feedback if we're fast enough. I'm just going to turn all these into Dark Archons. I don't really see an issue, other than the fact that they're in Perpetual Torment, right? Which I had talked about earlier. Okay, but we lost like 2 cannons there. Ultimately, not a big deal. Let's go ahead and start getting some scouts. They're expensive. We will get a fleet beacon for the speed as well. Might not need sight range, but regardless. Okay, we got that talisman. My probes are just constantly stuck here. Come on, buddy, you can make it. There you go. There you go. Good work. Okay, let's throw this down. Again, I'm primarily focused on defense right now, but eventually we're going to get to a point where, I mean, we can use the scouts that we make for defense as well. It's not going to be a big thing. Not going to be a big issue. I can get a second Cyber Core just for those upgrades. Get a few Zealots, because we got Zealot speed. Okay, and I mean, we're pretty well saturated here. I don't think we need any of this other stuff. At this point, we just got to keep an eye out for when we're getting attacked, grabbing Dark Archons that have the energy, and then mind controlling where possible. So, like, the ones that don't have energy, I want to keep separated so that I don't accidentally click them, because that's, you know, we're accidentally going to waste a click trying to mind control stuff that we shouldn't be. There we go. So let's start the scouts. They're expensive. We can make carriers, too. We could do, like, a full sweep with carriers. I don't know. I did mass carriers one mission with Trial of Tassadar. I don't want to do it again. I find mass capital ships to be incredibly boring. We'll probably make mass battle cruisers in the UED campaign once, which we did in New Gettysburg, but otherwise I don't want to. It's not a habit that I want to maintain. Okay, and we need the fleet beacon for these upgrades anyway. We already have the Templar Archive, so we can get ground upgrades more if we want. So there's a nice expansion you can take over on the left. I think it's... maybe I will go and take that. It's just hard, you know, it's hard to hang on to expansions that you take on this map. It definitely is. But maybe we'll try. I don't think there's enemy units that hang out over there, to be honest. Well, we have to be really concerned of our enemy air attacks that come in from these sides, but that's why we're going to be making a lot of air units. Okay, so let's mind control. Relatively minimal attacks here. We'll take an observer. That was incredibly wasted. Wasteful, I should say. Okay, go ahead and heal some shields. Heal some shields. This guy's on a ramp, so apparently he's just invincible. There we go. And then the extra, the crystal, the Argus crystal, or the Argus whatever. I hear a Reaver. So let's go and snag it. They must have dropped on top of this area. Come on. Take him. There we go. Now we have a Reaver. We're going to spend money to keep him stocked up, I suppose, and then keep making scouts, and then scout movement. And then I'm going to take this group, and I want to move over to the left just to see if I can take this base. I think it'll be worth it. Rebuild a few of these cannons. As long as we're spending like 300 minerals or so in between each attack, I'm not that concerned. I don't recall if there was an enemy base over here or static defense or anything. I think we could just take it. Yeah, if anything, just, you know, just for gas, because we're going to need it. It's just another base that we have to hold on to, though. So rather than defending here as much, we're going to be defending over here. So we just want to make more Dark Archons, I believe. But we already have enough energy on most of these to continue mind controlling. So as long as we take those Reavers, which are going to be the biggest issue, then we should be fine. Okay, and then we'll make pylons here. Again, we got a few units here. Let's move these Dark Archons over here. Should be fine. And then I would like to start +2 weapons. We've already gotten some scouts. As long as we're continuously building scouts, we're about to be supply blocked, actually. As long as we're continuously building scouts, so that I'm not wasting time. Like, I'm not going to get 333 before I build my first scout. That's just a big waste of time. Some may argue differently. I don't know. Again, the way some people, you know, they want to min-max, like, we're going to be as greedy as possible. I more think about it as how do we conserve time. Certainly makes more sense to me. Okay, and I think maybe a little overboard. I don't know. We gotta spread our units out. Make sure that we have. Well, we got the scouts at home, so that should be fine. Let's make sure we just keep building them, though.
Upgrade complete.
Okay, and then we might as well start queuing probes and sending them over here. The next attack, the next attack does put me in danger because I don't think I have enough defense everywhere. Yeah, let's get scout vision range because why not? Okay, this is working out. We need a couple cannons up here as well. This is done.
Not enough minerals.
Okay, very good. And we're not really in danger of being short on gas yet, but we will very soon as we start queuing up more and more scouts. So that's why I'm only building one at a time, and we'll get another Stargate here very soon. There's that. I think we are getting shields. We can start +2 air armor. Okay, and then more probes. Very nice. And yeah, we need minerals, but we'll get them very, very soon. These guys all have great amounts of energy. Everyone's at full energy. Great. Yep. Very, very good. All right, more scouts. Not enough minerals. Hey, so every so often, if I see something funny that I wanna tell my wife about or one of my friends about or talk about on the DPS podcast, I'll make a little note on my phone to be like, hey, this was a funny thing that happened to me. Like when that woman shouted, "I have a baby with me," I wrote it on my phone just because, again, it was intriguing and I had to make sure I really wanted to tell Keith and Brett. That was very important to me. Not like I would forget that, but sometimes, every so often, you just you think of something funny or you see something funny and you forget about it. So a lot of things I think you could benefit from keeping some notes. I don't mean like a journal per se, not that that would necessarily be a bad thing, but it's nice to keep track of some of those types of thoughts. So I was looking at my notes and I wrote unlimited shrimp. No idea what that's in reference to. I really wish I knew. And honestly, the whole, like, it evolved to the point where now the funny part about it is the fact that I wrote down unlimited shrimp and have no goddamn idea what it's in reference to. I still have no idea. What I suspect is, and this is what I think it was, is Olive Garden. I saw like one of those 5 to 10 second YouTube adverts for Olive Garden advertising for unlimited shrimp. But to be honest, I hate Olive Garden. I don't ever plan on eating there ever again. So I have no idea why I wrote it down or why I thought it was funny. But I just wrote unlimited shrimp. Not sure, again, what the reference was. But it is getting me thinking now, and I don't know, maybe this is what I was thinking before. I doubt it, but when you see an advertisement that, like, unlimited shrimp is back at Olive Garden for a limited time, you know, your first thought, if you really like shrimp and you are okay with eating it at the Olive Garden chain restaurant, is great. I love shrimp. I'm gonna go to Olive Garden soon. What I'm thinking about now, at least, I don't know if I thought about this previously, is just sort of like the whole supply chain marketing tactic of the unlimited shrimp here at Olive Garden. Because the first thing I think is anytime there's something on special, so something is a special, it probably, to me, means one of two things. They're trying to get more people into the restaurant to buy other stuff, or this one in particular, because unlimited shrimp is back, to me means that they had unlimited shrimp. It wasn't as popular as they would have liked. They overbought shrimp, and they have boatloads of shrimp that are going to go bad, and they're going to have to write down on their balance sheet. So they're bringing unlimited shrimp back. And it's kind of genius when you think about it, right? Because they're advertising and saying, they're getting you real excited about it. That's the job of the marketing department. You got to get real excited about unlimited shrimp being back at Olive Garden. But again, what that means to me is people weren't excited about it the first time. So they're like, we gotta generate excitement. We're gonna trick people. I mean, it's advertising, right? We're gonna make people think that it was popular. So they're gonna think like, wow, you know, it must have been so popular. They're bringing it back. That must have been really, really popular. When in reality, maybe it wasn't popular, and they actually had to. Oh, there's a bunch of scouts. Do we have enough energy? We do. Let's take a few of these. Okay, very cool. Let's go ahead and bring back our shields. But anyway, maybe it wasn't as popular, and then what ended up happening is they're like, oh god, we need to sell this shrimp, like, immediately, or it's all gonna go bad. I mean, I think that's just as likely as it was actually popular the first time. And the thing about chain restaurants, at least in the United States, is they're losing popularity. There's this whole thing like, oh, Applebee's, millennials are putting Applebee's out of business. Like, I live across the street from a Chili's, and I'll be honest, every so often, you know, I just get a hankering for Chili's. I think it's the salt. It's just the salt that you can get from Chili's, man. It's the sodium in those dishes, like, delicious. But anyway, I don't know, I'm not, like, fundamentally opposed to Applebee's or Chili's. The thing is, you just have to know what you're getting when you go there. Like, if you go to Applebee's or Chili's expecting to be wowed by a meal, then of course you're gonna be disappointed. So that's why, like, if I go to Applebee's, like, I know I'm getting microwave food, but I guess the biggest issue is the price. Like, you're paying a reasonable, you're paying an unreasonable amount for the quality of food that you're getting, I think, is the typical response that you get from, quote, millennials, those blasted millennials. Like, I was born in the late 80s. I'm barely a millennial. You know, I used to be Gen Y, but now I guess Gen Y, everybody's millennial as well. They're lumping us all in. But anyway, I guess, you know, chalk it up to another thing that those darned millennials are killing is Chili's. Really just chain restaurants in general, you know, Red Lobster. Red Lobster and Olive Garden. But yeah, so the unlimited shrimp, you know, they're like, well, shit, we gotta get rid of this shrimp. It's gonna go bad soon, so let's drum up excitement about unlimited shrimp to make people think that it was popular. Again, I think it's fascinating. It's interesting. It's like a type of marketing is very, very interesting. Not that I really know anything about marketing. I sound like I know what I'm talking about, but I don't. I do know a few things about supply chain, but other than that, you know, I don't have that really the type of information. I'm going to make 2 groups of scouts. So we're just queuing up a boatload of them.
You have not enough minerals.
And yeah, we should have enough supply. Yeah, so taking this base is going to shorten this significantly. We actually could just take 2 groups of scouts and start attacking enemy bases too, just for fun, because that's a lot of scouts. They're going to struggle to counter that anyway. But no, don't rally over there. Just rally here. But I'm struggling to think what other like Longhorn Steakhouse, Ruby Tuesdays. Are there any of those chain restaurants that people see and they're like I would say nationally, like you see in the U.S. that people are not fast food, but sit-down restaurants where they're really in like the good graces of the public. You know, they have like a really good reputation. And I don't think that Chili's or Applebee's has a bad reputation. Again, you just have to temper your expectations, which I think is just kind of a good life lesson in general. But you know, that unlimited, if you like unlimited shrimp, I guess you're in luck. 6, 7, 8. Okay, there we go. So that'll give us 2 groups. That should be enough to destroy him. In fact, we might be able to do it with 1 group, but we can wait because we're talking about unlimited shrimp. I'm half on shrimp. You know, I'll eat shrimp if it is available to me. Man, these attacks are like nothing. I remember like carriers and stuff. Maybe it's because I used to take forever on these maps. All right, go take the Reaver. Go take him. Please. Excuse me. There we go. Now we got 2 Reavers. I resent the implication. Could mind control them and kill them. Talking about the ethics of mind control. All right, get on up here, Reavers. You can defend us. They're good for defense. I will say, you know, I was just earlier talking about, like, I wish I wasn't a millennial. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, I think it's weird that there was a generation that was considered distinct, that now millennials, it's like a 30-year time span where you've got, like, baby boomers, Gen X. I feel like we're pretty distinct. Millennials, like, I was born before the internet was widespread. I'm not saying before the internet, like, defining when the internet started, I'm sure is a point of debate. But I'm like, I was born before widespread residential internet. I had a rotary phone in my house, in the basement. I know that the save icon is a floppy disk, and you use that to save information. And you know what? There's people slightly older than me that would talk about 8-track tapes, stuff like that. Anyway, I feel like my experience with technology is significantly different than someone who was born in the year 2000 or 1998 or even 1996, to be honest. And but for some reason we're the same. We're considered the same generation. It's very strange to me. I don't resent it though, because I feel like today, now at my current age, I relate more to people born in the 90s and early 2000s. You know, in the sense like, I don't want you to call me. If you want to talk to me on the phone, you have to text me and say that you want to call me, and then I will give you a time to call me, and then I won't answer the first time you call, and then I'll call you 5 minutes after that. I relate. I am solidly a millennial in that sense. All right, we're going now. We're 3-3-3 on our scouts. We got 2 full groups. We're not. Oh wait, no. We gotta wait for our armor. Do it. I also feel like, you know, we're sending an elite force to assassinate Aldaris. That way, we're not completely obliterating the Kali forces. They'll come back into the fold. All right, here we go. So we're just gonna go all the way up the side of the map. What's happened? I guess we built an extra scout. That's okay. Or maybe we have one in the same group. But you know what, Mr. Scout, you're like the scout commander. You're making sure everything's getting complete back at home. All right, let's make sure we're over to as far to the side of the map as possible. All right, there's just a ton of defense right in this area, so we're just gonna go straight for them. There's no way to really circumvent any of this stuff. But as you can see, we have more than enough scouts. Sorry, Aldaris.
Surrender your remaining forces and join us in eradicating the Zerg.
I would sooner die, Dark One, than tarnish the memory of Ire by joining with you. Your fate was sealed the moment your matriarch allied herself with the Queen of Blades. Those of us still loyal to Ire will never be slaves to Kerrigan and her broods.
Aldaris, be reasonable. Kerrigan has changed. She no longer seeks to enslave anyone. Do not force us to destroy you.
You can no longer afford to be so naive, Artanis. While you were securing the crystals, I discovered that your matriarch has been harboring a dark secret. She has been manipulated by
I have no time for this.
Kerrigan, what have you done?
Just cleaned up your mess, Protoss. Don't be so squeamish.
Wretched creature. This was our Protoss matter. You had no right to interfere. Be gone from this world. You are no longer welcome among us.
Fine. I've done what I came here to do. I've ensured the destruction of the renegade Cerebrants, and I used you to do it. Have fun, mighty Protoss. We'll be seeing each other again. Real soon.
Oh no, she's still a bad guy. Who would have thought? Weird bug lady, still a bad person. Anyway, I'd like to think that, considering the amount of resources I spent on making scouts, I could have very easily completed that mission conventionally. But again, that's how, just a blast from the past. This is how I used to do it as a kid, because that was the only way I could beat it as a kid. And what would I would have won doing the same thing, but it would have taken me like an hour, because I used to build like tons and tons of cannons. I didn't utilize mind control properly. I didn't build other units. I was like, well, I'm just going to make probes, and I'm just going to go straight for my plus 333 upgrades, and then I'll start making my scouts. Just completely outside of the realm of reasonable play within a real-time strategy as fast-paced as StarCraft. But anyway, as you can see, low APM, quite easily able to complete stuff like this. But I don't plan on cheesing too many maps like this. But, you know, if you want to RP it a little bit, justify it, and be like, well, you know what, again, we didn't have to kill too many of the Kali insurgents. We were able to bring them back into the fold without mass murdering them, even though they rebelled against us. All right, this has been Jay Barino. Thank you so much for listening to my shrimp advertisement manipulation thoughts, and I'll see you next time. Bye now.